let's talk about the proper washing and drying of your extension hair. So at least once a week, max 10 days, you do still have to wash your hair and your scalp when you wear extensions. You want to do a full wash. This is a little different than a partial wash. A partial wash is when you would take what is above your extensions, possibly in the front of your extensions and the underside of your extensions, and you could isolate your extensions from your hair and just wash your natural hair. This is the full day wash, and there's going to be a few important key points that I make. I have real, raw, slept on, very dirty. I think it's been 8 days since I've shampooed my entire head of hair. The first thing you're going to want to do is you are going to want to fully brush through your hair before you get in the shower. This is very important. It is not as important if you don't wear extensions, but the washing is where you can get into a lot of trouble with potential matting if you are not taking the proper steps. Why would extension hair mat? Well, when you are putting extension hair in, you are putting a dense amount of hair and you're compressing it into a row. You could have 4 to 6 wefts on your row. And instead of that amount of hair being evenly dispersed around your head, it is smashed together through here. Because it is so compressed, it has the potential of creating some naps and some matting. The older the extension hair gets, the drier it gets, the worse the matting potential can be. However, there is always potential for matting because of the compressed weft. So how do you avoid this? The very first thing you need to do is thoroughly brush your hair before you get in the shower. Because if you have any sort of napping and tangling beginning and you do not comb that out, washing it is just going to make it worse. So it's easy for me because I do not have any matting in my hair. If you do have matting in your hair, you are going to, I'm taking a clip and I'm separating my top from my rows. If you happen to feel, what does matting feel like? Matting can feel puffy. This is the very top of my row where again, those wefts are tightly compressed. It feels very smooth. I can just run my fingers right through it, all the way up at the top. I can run a brush through it. If you cannot do that and it feels fat, fluffy, and puffy, you have matting. You need to take the time. I prefer to use the end of a rat tail comb, like a metal comb or a very hard plastic, skinny rat tail. This Sheila Stotts wet brush also has metal tines. You could also work those in there. But the rat tail brush is a little easier. You can stick the tail in there and just start picking out the mat. If you do this before you get in the shower, you will not have to worry. So once your hair is thoroughly brushed out, the more rows you wear, the more hair you have, the more careful you need to be to take it section by section. And you may want to actually take the time to clip up your sections and do the next section. I'm not gonna torture you with having you come into the shower with me, but I am gonna tell you what I'm gonna do when I get in the shower. Again, you can bring a clip or 2 in. The thicker your natural hair, the more wefts, the more rows you wear, the more you may need a clip 2 or 3 to really section your hair off to access your scalp. You are also not gonna wanna forget to bring a wet comb into the shower with you, okay? So when you don't wash your hair very often, your hair gets very dirty. When your hair is very dirty, the shampoo that you use does not lather right away. If you shower and shampoo your hair 2 days in a row, one shampoo is going to give you this amazing lather. But with with non-sulfate shampoos, it has a low lather anyways, because the product they use to cleanse the hair is a low lathering product versus the sulfates that we used to use in shampoo, which gave us a high lather, a rich lather, which was very satisfying but very stripping to our hair. So now the standard is a no sulfate sodium laureth or sodium lauryl sulfate shampoo. They still cleanse our hair, but it's a much lower lather. So to get a good lather, you have to do 2 shampoos, sometimes even 3 shampoos. Now, one of the things that I've learned that I've had to teach my daughter, who would say, Mom, I did do 2 shampoos, is you almost have to think of it, especially when you wear extensions, and this is what I tell her, she does not wear extensions, you almost want to think of it as doing 6 shampoos because you want to take it in sections. I wear 2 rows of shampoo. I wear 2 rows of extensions. So I'll take a small amount of shampoo on my very wet hair and I will shampoo the top all the way to the back, top of my weft, my sides above, my front, and then I will rinse. I will take another small amount of shampoo on my very wet hair and I will wash in between my rows, really scrubbing my scalp and scrubbing up and around my extensions. You want to cleanse those because it's going to lessen the amount of buildup that can sneak down into the bead, which is going to make it so that when we are taking the beads out and combing through, it's just going to be a much more comfortable experience instead of the stylist having to kind of pick through all that buildup. So washing and rinsing very well is going to prevent that. Then I will rinse that. Then I will take a third shampoo, a very small amount, and I will go underneath on the bottom and I will cleanse that. I will rinse everything. Then I will go back in 3 sections with shampoo one more time. Shampoo the top, shampoo the middle, take another small amount, shampoo the underneath. Then if you're using Isles formula, which is what we love for extensions, that rich lather, you don't want to stop shampooing until you get a very rich billowy lather. If it's still not lathering, you need to do it again. You could always use a less expensive shampoo for your first wash, and you can use the Isles formula for your second wash because Isles is such a gentle cleanser. Sometimes it needs a little bit more shampoo. So after you're done with your second or third round of shampooing to really cleanse the scalp, if you're using Isles formula, you can massage that lather down into your ends because the lather even on that particular formula is very moisturizing and good for the length of your hair. If you're using a shampoo that is not Isles formula, you can just simply rinse your hair and the small amount of suds that's kind of coming down is going to be enough to just cleanse your ends and clean the little bit of dirt that's on those. Because again, our ends get dirty, but not as dirty as our scalp. So then after that's done, you are going to want to go through and you're going to want to condition. Now, everyone has a bit of a different hair situation. I have clients that have such fine hair that they're scared to put conditioner, up through here because it's going to weigh their natural hair down. If you're using the correct conditioner, I love the Isles formula conditioner, that is not going to weigh your hair down. But the best thing you can do when you're wearing extensions is think, I'm going to start with my conditioner, ponytail down. Don't even go up here. Just put it on your ponytail and down. The more extensions you have, the more hair you have, the more length you have, obviously the more conditioner you need. Do not stop there and rinse. You're going to want to take your wet brush and from the bottom, working your way up, all the way up to the top of your wefts, all the way up to the top of one weft, 1 row, 2 rows, or 3 rows. And you're gonna wanna comb through until every single part of your hair is combed. Now, because you've combed conditioner through your hair and with a wet brush, you're gonna have a very small amount of conditioner left on your brush. This is the perfect amount of conditioner for you fine-haired girls to just comb through your natural hair. So you are conditioning your natural hair, but you're only conditioning with just enough. So that's a little trick to condition the topmost healthier part of your hair that doesn't need as much conditioning. You're gonna wanna let that sit on for at least a minute. If you're using a mask, you wanna let that sit on 5 to 20 minutes and rinse it off. If you're just using the conditioner, you can do 1 to 2 minutes or longer. It will not hurt to do it longer. If you were using Isles formula, and you're using the mask, which I suggest to use almost every time when you have extensions, especially blonde extensions, you wanna leave that mask on for 5 minutes, give yourself a little shave if you're into that, ladies, or a little facial scrub, rinse, and then you're gonna follow up with the Isles conditioner because that's actually gonna seal the cuticle of the hair and seal all that moisture and all the nourishment that you just put in with the mask into your hair. You would then comb through that again, rinse well, then you're gonna get out of the shower. You're gonna towel dry your hair, kind of gently squeeze out, not being rough, the excess water. And then we're gonna meet back here. All fresh and clean. I put my makeup on while my hair, I towel dried it, flipped it over, put it in a turban so that this turban, this microfiber turban, could begin the process of taking the moisture out of my hair. So now that that's been done, I'm going to undo the turban, release my hair, and this is where we are now. I personally have very fluffy, fine hair, medium density, but fairly fine and fluffy. It's not the world's best hair. It does best when I blow it dry and put a curling iron to it. When I blow it dry straight, it just kind of looks like fluff. If I let it air dry, it looks terrifying. So best thing for me is a blow dry. So I am going to show you how I blow dry my extensions. And as I show you, I'm also going to explain some key points to pay attention to when you are blow drying your extensions and your hair. And we're gonna start with the Isles Formula Curl Revive. It is a leave-in spray. Now, I love this product, but I think sometimes it's not coming out. There we go. I think sometimes people can get tripped up by the fact that it says Curl Revive. Well, I don't have curly hair. It's actually pretty much like the curl serum, just a little bit more intense, a little bit more rich for people who have dry hair, extra porous hair. Who has extra porous hair? Color treated hair, color treated blondes especially, vivid colors who've been through a double process. Dry hair, curly hair is always drier than straight hair. Extensions are extremely processed and porous because they used to be on another human and had to go through a massive process to get onto your head, especially if you have blonde hair. That hair is either generally from India or China and had to go through a massive process to become the blonde color that it is, which is why that hair tends to wear out the fastest as well. So that is porous hair. So even if you feel like your hair is fine, you may still need the more rich product for more processed hair, because if you're wearing extensions, you are wearing very processed hair. So I like to use that before I comb it out, before I blow dry, because I like a spray. Sprays are easy to apply. We're gonna get into the blow dry next.